Welcome back to the Crochet Chronicles, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today is the Mum and Me Crochet Shawl or the Mum and Me Crochet Bolero. So what we have here is that it's actually the very same stitch work. They're just presented in two different ways. So there's two different lengths because there's two patterns. So the mother shawl here is just an open kind of a wrap section, where the child's bolero here has actually been sewn so that there is sleeves. Essentially the same stitch work. However, there's a difference in the width between the two. So you can decide what you want to do with these particular concepts. So you can actually make the Mum and Me into a bolero for the adult size if you wanted to. You just have to watch the length of this. The child size version only requires one ball of red heart roll with it sparkle, just like you see, and it really does sparkle. And the adult size here is two balls of that same yarn with roll with it sparkle. So I'm going to present this. It's going to be exactly the same tutorial, so you see two different videos, but there's actually the same thing. So if you leave a message saying that's the same video, I'm gonna say yeah, that's right. So what we have here is that there is a crochet diagram on page number 2 of both of these, and you can see that it's an easy repeat as you're going, and this is the mother's wrap right so like that. So I have a little sample to show you, and then I'm gonna show you the stitch work and just change the chain or the chain counts for you in order to do the child and the mom size right here on the same video. So here is the mom size just like you see. So it's gonna be much wider than the child size. It would be, child size is almost just over half of the distance, so it actually will go a lot faster. And you can see I just did it. So the yarn is changing color on its own, as you saw what's inside the ball itself. So I'm not actually being strategic about that. And even though it changes midway through, that change could be at the end, and etc. And it's just a matter of just having fun with it and letting the yarn do the work. So we're gonna be using a 4mm size G crochet hook in order to play. And the stitch work is really quite simple. There's a repeat of 4 rows. I found with myself, keep that diagram closely by, because you'll see that there's a repeat going on. And let's zoom in on the diagram and take a look closer. So with the child size and the adult size, it's still the same diagram, and what we're just gonna do is create a starting chain and then create these spaces. So when you're creating spaces, the next time these shells go into place, they'll just be sitting in there. So you see that the shell is here, then it shifts over and then back. So you just have to keep an eye on that, and once I got used to this pattern, it was really kind of just simple to be able to just blaze my way through. So we're going to begin now, and let's grab our yarn and a hook and let's start playing. So let's get playing now. For the starting counts, if you would like to change the size of any of this, it's in multiples of 7 chains plus 11. So go 7, 7, 7, and when you're satisfied, add 11 more chains and it should be good to go. So for the child size, you're going to chain 46, and for the mom size, you're gonna chain 88. So just chain, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to the size chain that you wish. So now that my chain is done, I've done a child size chain just to be transparent with you. So we're now going to start with row number 1, and we want to go to the 5th chain from the hook. So just count it back. So just count back 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's where we're going to place in our first single crochet, the 5th chain from the back, like that. So we have to pay attention to our repeats as we're going. So we're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna skip 3 chains. So just on the same back, so 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th and single crochet. Getting started is always the hardest part. And now you're only gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. So you're always gonna just chain 3. The difference this time is you're only gonna skip 2 chains. So 1, 2, go to the 3rd. And that's gonna be your repeat going all the way across. So chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this time skip 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip only 2. So 1 and go into the 3rd one, and you're gonna repeat that going all the way across your chain. So the chain 3 is consistent, and the number of chains that you're skipping will be relative, right? So the next time you're gonna start up, you're gonna chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this time skip 3 chains. And please do this all the way to the end. When you get all the way to the end, you'll have 2 chains left, which is right, and then you're just gonna chain 1 and then half double crochet into the final chain. So everything works out beautifully. So that was row number 1. We're gonna turn our work and do row number 2. So whenever there's spaces, this time we're gonna fill it in with some shell work. So to begin row number 2 is part of the repeat. So we're going to just chain up 1. and we're going to single crochet into the very first one, to the half double crochet, and then you're always gonna chain one after you do a stitch. It's just as a nice easy way to remember that. So come into the next chain space that you have, so skipping this one, go into this one right here, and you're going to double crochet, chain one, and double crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, and double crochet, and then finish it off with the chain one. So you should have what appears to be 4 double crochets in there with chain one spaces in between. The next space that you'll have here, just single crochet right into the space itself, and then start again. So chain one to start, and then in the next space you're going to double crochet. So 1, chain 1, and 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, and 4, and finish it with the chain 1, and then single crochet into the next space, chain 1, and start again. So that's what we're gonna do all the way across for row number 2. This is part of the repeat. So I'm coming all the way across, just did there, and chain 1, and do your last set in these double crochets. This yarn reminds me of candy floss, the way that it looks with the sparkle. Not that candy floss sparkles, but that's what it reminds me of, the coloring. So once you get your last set in here, just chain 1 to finish it, and then you are gonna come into the very final right over here. So we're just going to single crochet into the second chain to finish it off, and it will hold it in place. So let's turn our work and do row number 3. So now we got to create spaces for the next time these shells appear in the 4th row. So to start this one, this is row number 3, you're gonna chain a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, that counts as a double crochet, and then the 4th is that chain, so 4. So it's double crochet plus chain 1. Now what you're just gonna do is separate these 4. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. Go in between the first and the second and single crochet, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then separate the 3rd and the 4th one of that same one, and just go in between, and then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and now jump to the next shell. So go in between the 1 and the second, 1 and 2, chain 3, and then go in between 3 and 4, and then chain 3, and then jump to the next one, and you're gonna do that all the way across. This is row number 3. So I'm coming to the very end, going in between the 3rd and the 4th, and to finish the end you were just gonna chain 1 and double crochet into this right here, the single crochet. And you'll do that at the end of row number 3 is when you hit row number 3. Turn your work, let's do row number 4. So row number 4, the spaces have just been put in. So what we need to do is concentrate on the spaces that are in between the shell work. So the next shell will appear here because it has to be in between. So we're going to chain up 3, which counts as your first double crochet, and in the same space you're going to apply one double crochet. So don't chain 1 first, just immediately double crochet into that space, then chain 1 and double crochet again. So it appears that you have 3 on the ends with the chain 1 space that separates the last 2. You're then going to chain 1, and you're just gonna pull up this chain that's sitting on top of this shell here, and you're gonna single crochet, chain 1, and in this space here we're going to apply the shell work. So you're just going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, followed by a chain 1, and then just pull up the next space, which just happens to be sitting on the next shell, and single crochet, and just do that all the way across. So these shells are going to appear in between each other. So chain 1 to start, put in a shell, don't forget the chain 1 after it, and then single crochet into the next space, and do that all the way across. This is row number 4. So let's finish off row number 4. When we started we had a half a shell these 3 double crochets and then it jumped over. So when we get to the other side we just have to do a half. So chain up 1 and in the last space do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and what you need to do is put in a 3rd double crochet. So don't chain 1 and just put it right into the chain itself. Don't go into a space, and then that will hold it from collapsing on itself like that. And that was row number 4. Row number 5 is the end of the repeat, so we're gonna turn our work, and essentially what we're doing is we're putting these shells back in and they will appear. So this shell, there will be another one here and this one here and etc. So let's begin row number 5. So we're just gonna create the spaces. So just chaining up 1, 2, 3. Separate the second and the third one. It's just an end and single crochet, and then jump your 3. So chain 3. Now you have your next one here, so you're gonna go in between 1 and 2 and then chain 3 and then go between 3 and 4 and then chain 3 and then jump to the next one. So in between, so don't include anything that looks abnormal. So don't include this chain down here. So just look at only these shells. I kind of found I was doing that a little bit when I was doing my sample. And then you're gonna do this all the way across, and I'll see you at the end of this row. When you get to the end you have your half a shell here, so you're just gonna go between 1 and 2 for single crochet. You're only gonna chain 1 and then you're gonna half double crochet on the top of this chain here to finish that off, and that was row number 5. So you're gonna turn your work. So all you just need to do is repeat rows number 2 all the way to 5. Keep repeating until you get to the length that you want. Let's review the lengths, and everything will work out pretty wonderfully. So let's go through the lengths next. So the child size version that you have here is just going all the way to 30 inches all the way across, and then you're gonna fold it in half and just whip stitch it across. So you're gonna just whip like so, and then it says here fold in half lengthwise with the right side facing out. Sew the seams 12 inches in from each of here. So it's going in 12 inches. So if you want to put this around a person that is going to wear this, you just want to put it onto their back and then just see how much you want to go all the way up. You want a little bit of tension there so that it doesn't easily fall off the back, so that literally the arms are holding it into position so that it stays snug around the back of the person. So this is the front and that's the back. Once you have that done, you're going to then evenly do 1 single crochet all the way around. So just do 1 single crochet all the way around this opening like that. Just evenly space it and then you're good to go. So this would be how you do the Mum and Me crochet shawl and the Mum and Me crochet bolero. Until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the crochet crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.